Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Rudy Daisel, the CEO of West Wits Mining, the company which is reviving gold mining on South Africa's West Rand, which has a rich gold mining history. The plan is for the 17-year life Qala Shallows to ramp up to steady state of 70,000 ounces a year as an integral part of the Witwatersrand Basin project.
West Wits mining comes from the historical old central Witwatersrand Basin area. Based on the old Rand leases in Durban, Roodepoort Deeps area, we got around, I guess, around 2017, the underground mining rights. Since then, with a lot of struggles in terms of getting funding for this project, we did a lot of technical work just to de-risk the project and get it to a point where we really got the confidence on the investors' side. Today we can say we are fully funded to start this mine and build the construction for a 17-year life of mine project, with obviously with a view to be much bigger than that. We've got an aspirational view to build this mine up to 200,000 ounces, and we've most certainly got the resource to do that. So the first thing for us is this first stage, which we call Qala Shallows, which means beginning. And this will only produce up to a steady state of 70,000 ounces, but it's got a life of mine of 17 years. And we need to show the world that we can be successful and produce. And that's the intention, while we then go on our growth path that we are planning going forward.
When do you think the first gold will come out of West Wits mining?
We already produced our first ore to surface a few weeks ago. And so the big thing for us now is to build a stockpile that we want to get to a good enough grade so that we have a stable recovery. And then the intention is that the first gold bar will be poured around the first quarter of 2026. The EPCM team is actually working on the ground now, and they are constructing the mine that will support that 17-year life of mine production.
And how many people are employed and what are they doing for you?
We are in the build-up phase, but ultimately at steady state, which will be about in 3 years from now, we will employ about 1,000 people on this mine. We are actually following a toll treatment route. We've got an executed agreement with Sibanye-Stillwater at their Ezulwini plant. It's about 40 kilometers away from us. And then the intention is that we will then truck in run-of-mine material. They've got SAG mills at Ezulwini, and that's what they require. A SAG mill would love to have that run-of-mine material because it's part of the milling process, and it's a positive for them as well for us. They can bring down their unit cost, and then obviously we don't need to build a plant. And that's how we're going to do this project at this stage. Once we deliver it to them, it will go through their process. We pay a cost plus a markup, and then from there on, it will all go to them, but we do get the spot price. This is a very interesting project because it's a bit different from other mining projects where there's a lot of upfront capital. We actually fund a lot of this project out of our revenue from the mine itself. We've got basically three facets of our funding. The one is the revenue that we create from our production. And then we've got a lenders facility through two of the big financial institutions in South Africa, which is a big part of that, but that will only come in at a later stage. But then we had to raise funds on the market, on the Australian Stock Exchange, to get equity to kick off this project. We had to speak to the market, we had to convince people that this is a great project, and we were able to raise that equity to kickstart this project. And then it will basically operate for up to a year before we do our first drawdowns on our lenders facility. We've got a very low all-in sustaining cost because we are mining from surface with declines. We are currently following a contractor's model, so there's a lot of efficiencies that kicks in very quickly. We've got quite a big block of ground that we are able to mine from surface, and the fact that we can start producing also soon, because there's some of the historical areas that were left behind purely because of cut-off grade and low gold price in those days, that are suddenly at these high prices just so profitable, just makes this project's payback period so short, that have a very positive impact on our internal rate of return as well as our NPV.
What is the payback?
Once again, this is now different because we don't have upfront capital and we don't need to complete infrastructure before we deliver the first ore. We deliver ore from day one. We hit peak funding around 2.5 years, but the main thing for us, the payback on that peak funding is 8 months, which means this project is really, really, really great. Because it's so close in Johannesburg, we've got the infrastructure around us. Our OEMs that support the mine as well, very close. So there's a lot of de-risking in this project. And then obviously, like I mentioned, the geology is so well known. So we are extremely confident in what we're going to mine. So we've got quite a big footprint in terms of our mining rights. It's about 16,000 hectares. Our focus is really on this small piece of ground now because it's an in situ untouched block. From surface, it's running at around depth of 800 meters. And we intend to mine a strike length of about 2 kilometers. And it's shallow mining. We've got a strong team with that. In the same time, we've spent upfront, before we started with this project, a lot of time setting up our code of practices, our standard operating procedures, as well as we've got already a standard book for mining and engineering by which the guys need to work. And what is great about West Wits is that we are also a member of the Mineral Council. So with a lot of support from them, we were able, with the setup of while we were mobilizing and getting everything together, we were able to really have that industry standards being rolled out from day one. So there's already a high regard and respect for safety and that culture. But the big thing from our employees and the message that we send out is you live safety. It must be part of your life. My safety is your safety. We want to set a high standard for ourselves. Just going through the whole process in terms of getting those funding from the banks, we had to go through a huge due diligence process, and it was being tested. It went through that. We passed that exam, and it just showed the quality at which we actually do our job, but we expect the mine must also operate at that point. We've got the OEMs who supply the equipment to also maintain our equipment. And that's great because they make sure that you've got the availability. All our OEMs are local South African companies. On our stoping equipment, we decided that we will not go compressed air at all. The only compressor that we've got on site is for our hydropower. We're already working with hydropower underground. The penetration rates on hydropower is just so much quicker. So we are going totally with hydropower in our equipment, and so far it's great, and we once again get great support. The company that we use is HPE, and we also get a lot of assistance, especially on the face, and that's important to us.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Rudy Daisel, the CEO of West Wits Mining. We were chatting about Joburg's golden glow beginning to re-show with a nice gold price in tow.